Shalom and good morning. Excuse me, not good morning, but maybe, yeah, good morning. But I don't want it to be morning anymore. And by that, I'm talking about some of the relationships or marriages are suffering a great deal. And I'm not going to say that suffering is always bad because it's not. Suffering can teach us lessons, but there is some suffering that I do believe is unnecessary. And it is caused by religious beliefs and really and truly the lack of us seeing God in ourselves and other people. So self-love and the lack of love for others. This message is going to be a deep one. This recording is very near and dear to my heart because I'm a passionate person for love and relationships. And I'm talking about real, authentic love. Um, and I believe that the Father, the Most High, the universe is teaching me, even right now with my own relationships and relationship, about some things that are necessary in order to have an authentic and godly, truly godly relationship. So without further ado, I'm really coming to the Father on behalf of myself and so many others, men and women, so many other souls who are longing to have that authentic love relationship with a life partner. And I'm asking that the Most High Spirit and His ministering angels be here attentively on this morning to give the words, the encouragement, and the guidance and direction that we so desperately need. So without further ado, I'm going to begin. This is probably going to be a long one, guys. Most High, most loving Father, creator of all things, I come right now asking that you present truth, guidance, and direction right now on behalf of unions, true unions, Father, manifestation of your love at work in the earth and what they're supposed to look like, what they should feel like. Please speak right now. I ask that you would be, that I could be a vessel for you right now, for my sisters and brothers who are going through some things unnecessarily because we're not learning to love ourselves, which is in essence loving you. And because we can't do that, we're not loving other people, which is also you, and other things. Bring clarity for us. So be it. I want to think of some questions that I feel need to be answered right now. Hmm. What is a message for the person who is feeling unfulfilled in their marital union, What would you have them know at this time? Mm. How can we improve, Father? How can we improve our relationships right now and into the future? How can we improve them? What message do you have for those who are in union right now? How can we improve the unions for now and in the future? Hmm. And what advice, what direction, Heavenly Father, will you give us? What direction, what advice would you give right now? What messages do you have for those of us who are in union right now, Heavenly Father? What can we do right now and even into the future to better our relationships right now? And what direction, Father, and guidance do we need to take? Okay. Four. Wow, this is so beautiful. Mm, 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 mm. So the first card that came up about what messages the Most High needs us to know right now for those of us who are in unions right now is the goddess of Teotihuacan, or Teotihuacan, excuse me, Teotihuacan. And the meaning of this card says, hallelujah, Father. It says that when this comes up in a reading, consider very seriously that you need to cut cords to negative or unhelpful influences in your life, whether they be habits, people, or forms of entertainment and media that threaten to distort the pure and wise use of your wild spirit and ignited mind. While it is important that you engage with others, the sacred creator within you requires time and space and solitude to process, reflect, contemplate, and create. Only then can you remember who you are and what is important to you and summon the inner power of the Most High to act accordingly. In that way, you will not become overly swayed by any lesser force, particularly mainstream consciousness that perpetuates victimizing thought patterns and or behaviors. Give yourself a chance for spiritual, psychological, and emotional time out and cleansing so that you can recognize the inner truth of your own soul and adhere to it faithfully. Oh my gosh. I'm going to read a little bit of the spiritual guidance because it's literally speaking to some things that the Spirit spoke to me this morning. So it says that Sacred Earth Mother has come to you in honor of the important work you have to accomplish as a creator of consciousness, a free thinker, and a seeker of truth. If you become dried up and depleted, the Divine Mother brings you nourishment. Let the inner well of your soul be filled with her presence and grace through deepest rest and contemplation. Give yourself space and time for renewal and allow any overload of your mind or nervous system to discharge into the earth. If you have lost the zest for your passion or have become confused or even overwhelmed, scattered with too many ideas or directions, you are in need of the spiritual cleansing which her blessings bring to you. The waters of your own consciousness must be safeguarded and protected so that they can become a tonic for the souls of others. When you highly value your uniqueness and originality, you become willing to bear the uncertainty that accompanies absence of the familiar. Vigorously fight any who attempt to exploit, direct, or distort the true expression of your higher knowing. Mm. I'm going to stop there and I'm just going to go off of what the Spirit was talking to me about earlier. So basically, I really think that this is talking a great deal to women, but I do know that men can also receive this message because overall, this is a spiritual thing. And pretty much this is about cleansing ourselves from belief systems, people, and materials that bring negative energy, that bring discord, that bring confusion, that drain us, that drain our life forces, that drain the happiness, the joy, pretty much the fruits of the Spirit. Anything that's not helping to sustain life is taking it away. And so this morning, what came to me was that we as women, along with men, we're creators. We are creators, and everything that we experience right now, especially when it comes to our relationships, we in some way have created it. We have helped to create that, whether it was through negative thoughts or positive thoughts, life-giving thoughts or thoughts that lead to death. We created it, whether it was because of old belief patterns, whether it was because of past traumas that have not been healed, whether it's because of fear. We created it. A lot of us are in unions and relationships and so-called marriages that we created from a space of nothingness. Like we didn't have any good thoughts happening at the time. Or we actually, as souls, were not creating anything. We weren't creating anything. And so because we weren't actually creating anything of our own that was coming from the God in us, we have been receiving all the things that we actually don't really want. And that's because we focused on them. If you were single for a long time, maybe you focused on the fact that you didn't have anybody or that none of the relationships seemed to go right. You played the victim. It was always woe is me. You didn't necessarily look at yourself. You didn't look at you as God. You didn't look at you as the reason that these things were happening, why relationships did not work out. You didn't look at yourself right away. So you've engaged in relationships that have had to force you to check you out. And they've been painful and they've been traumatic and they have hurt. And instead of learning the lesson about who you are, that you create your consciousness and that you create everything around you, it was still somebody doing something to you. It was still somebody doing something to you. This was originally in the reverse. And so to me, I'm going to use that right now. And I'm going to say that the reason that a lot of us have been involved in these relationships that are totally unfulfilling to us on a spiritual and soul level is because we have not created the atmosphere for ourselves that is fulfilling. We have been looking to other people to create that. We have used religion, religious practices. And I'm not saying that's necessarily horrible, but what I am saying is it's bad if it's not working for you. It is. It's bad if it's not working for you, and it has not been working for us. You thought that if you got in line with this faith or that faith, and you became what they said a woman is supposed to become, that you would attract the type of man that you desire. When the truth is that truth for you and about who you are and about the role that you were supposed to play in both your relationship and this world is already encoded in you. And that you need to connect to the Most High God within you. And you needed to learn yourself and learn to love yourself. And from there, you would begin to create the true life that you desire to have. And in creating the true life that you desire to have, you would also manifest and create the type of love relationship that you desire from a place of truth, genuineness, and authenticity. Wow. So it came up in the reverse because we have not been doing this. We have been seeking outside of self because we have been taught that we are inherently evil, or because we have been taught that we are sinners. And even that the Most High cannot speak to us. That the Most High can't speak to us. When that is the furthest thing from the truth. If we prepare a place in our hearts and minds for the Father, and I use hearts and mind interchangeably. So if we prepare a place for the Most High in our hearts, He will meet us there. The Elohim will meet us there and minister to us from within. And it will be true. It will ring true to our spirits because the Most High who created us knows exactly what it is that we need. What we need to hear, what will move us to action, what will keep us from doing certain things. The Most High is totally aware of that. No one else can give that to you, except, of course, if the Most High allowed them to speak to those things in you. We have to begin to take responsibility for ourselves, to safeguard ourselves, to safeguard that we already inherently know. The Father is always speaking to us. The Mother is always speaking to us, telling us about who we really are and the things that we really like and do not like. Whether it's by showing us what totally frustrates us, pisses us off, makes us angry, or what brings us so much joy in the quietest ways. And even sometimes loud. But the Spirit is always speaking. We have to make our bodies temples, and we have to listen and move like they tell us to move. We got to tap into ourselves where the Most High God desires to dwell, and we have to invite the Most High in. and allow for that spirit to lead us from the inside out, not from the outside in. Not from the outside in. That's what I get from this first card. That is the message. Ooh. All right, gonna move on. I'm gonna find this other meaning. Sorry guys about that. All right, so I'm back. The next card that was pulled for the what can we do now and in the future to help our relationships and our unions. This is the card that was pulled. It's called El-Haz, and it speaks of divine might foretold. Divine might foretold. So this is my first time getting this one, so I'm going to go ahead and definitely read it. Initially, it says that you know what is correct. You understand that any gain which comes from denying your values and compromising yourself creates a loss of soul. There are times when it may seem as though people who act without integrity are obtaining benefit without negative repercussions. Life can seem unfair if you limit yourself to a strictly human perspective. Yet nothing escapes the attention of the spiritual worlds. Restorative action and balancing fairness is always in action at a higher level, according to divine timing, of course, and wisdom. Stay true to your integrity. Put your faith in divine justice, and you will win in a way that brings benefit to many. Here we go. In a reading, don't let yourself down with behaviors or attitudes that are unworthy of you. You have divinity within you and a right to be in the world with dignity, grace, and integrity, whether in a small matter of apparent insignificance to anyone other than yourself, or in big matters where you feel your soul and perhaps the souls of others are on the line. Integrity will be your saving grace. You can be kind of heart, but also firm as you refuse to allow anyone or anything to convince you that lowering your standards of acceptable behavior is warranted. Be in right relationship with yourself and the divine. Justice will always be done, whether you see it happening or not. Put your faith in the good and true, and you will successfully continue on your path. Others are relying on you to be true to yourself more than you may realize. You are strong enough to live with honor. Mm-mm-mm. I'm going to read a little bit more. It says this oracle foretells of an increase in your haminga and in your capacity to impart your spiritual energy into your communities. This puts you in a position of increasing power and influence, which your integrity will help you express wisely. In this position of spiritual influence, you will sometimes end up standing apart from others who may demonstrate less inner strength. By refusing to compromise what you know is true, you will be able to uplift those who are ready to go beyond ego limitations of greed, laziness, and boredom. You can bring about a new understanding that one's standard of living is about more than personal ownership of possessions. Rather, it is about the inner state of our being and how we choose to live the life we have been given. Your influence is not about encouraging others to make the same choices that you have made for yourself, but about learning to honor their own integrity, to make their own wise decisions. In this way, you become a spiritual protector and guardian of those in your communities, helping each individual to grow according to their own soul journey. Elk urges us to care for and protect each other. We are urged to be firm about what is just and what is not correct, and yet also to be merciful and have compassion in our hearts, for we are human beings who will stumble. If we are courageous enough to pursue a path of justice and truth, then the Divine Father, the Most High, an aspect which elk wisdom expresses through the qualities of justice, nobility, and integrity, will support and encourage us. The moment that we are moved to harshness, even if we believe it is in pursuit of a noble cause, we lose our spiritual footing, compromise our values of mercy and compassion, and undermine our strength of leadership. In this advanced spiritual citizenship, we recognize that our empowerment comes from our consciousness. We use our will to uphold that consciousness, not to attempt to dominate another, but to evoke a quality of soul that inspires others towards taking their own healing actions. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to share what Spirit gives me. Basically, this was also in the reverse. A lot of us are not being true to who we are. We're not being true to the standards that we know are right for us in our spirit. We just simply are not. And as a direct result of that, we are remaining in marriages and relationships that are truly not soul fulfilling. We are not even living our life purposes out because of these unions that we are in. And we know it. We know it. We feel it. It keeps coming up in our consciousness. It keeps coming up in our thoughts. We know it's not. We know we're not being true to ourselves. We know that we have altered so much. We have changed so much of ourselves to be in this union. Mm-mm-mm. And that's not always good. See, we've altered the good things, the true things, the authentic things about us to be in this union. And that does not serve us or anybody else. So right now we're being fake and phony. We're not being who we really are called to be. And we can't be at this place. So we have to turn this around. And the only way we can do that is by being honest with ourselves first. We have to get real with ourselves first. We have to take our integrity back. We have to go back within ourselves to figure out who the heck we are, what it is that we believe so strongly, and why. And then we have to stand on that, knowing that the Most High will support us. Knowing that the Most High will support us. No matter what it may look like and what it may feel like. And when we do that, we are protecting ourselves and other people to be able to do that same thing. The Most High God is about truth. He is about justice. A lot of us are compromising our character in some of these relationships. We are, in essence, even in being quiet, saying that certain things that our spouses do is okay, even when in our whole soul we know it's wrong. Whether it's a small lie or whether it is this person's deep-rooted beliefs about the world, about women or about men and what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. We know it's wrong. We can feel it. But because we've agreed to be in union with them and the little sense of integrity that we do have, we are remaining even though they go against everything in us, our soul, and what we know to be true. We need to take it from reverse and flip it up. We need to be true to ourselves because it's not just about us here. Our relationships that we are in affect more people than we can ever realize. And the reason it does so is because it shapes our reality. It shapes our minds. You know that you begin to think a certain way about men and women based off of the relationships that we are in, the marriages that we are in. If you're in an unfulfilling union, if you are in a union that does not exhibit the love of God for both parties and respect and honor for both parties, do you know that you begin to operate and you begin to think that others think that way? You become resentful mean, bitter. And you're going to take these thought processes, whether you mean to or not, out into the world. Mm. You're not allowing yourself to realize, okay, this is a mistake. This is not true to who I am. This is not even true to who the Most High I know has called me to be. You're not even having mercy and compassion on yourself to back up and make a new decision, one that's more right for you. And even for the other person, whether the other person can know you're being merciful or compassionate or not. Most of us are allowing that person to dictate something to us. That's why we're there. And if it's not that person, we are allowing limited beliefs of religion to keep us there. And so we're not being able to walk in integrity and truth and true love of the Father for first ourselves and others. We can't do it. But this card is saying that you're gonna do it. It's turned upside down right now. It is blocked right now by whatever inner things that you got going on. So that first message is that the Father gave us is that we need to truly begin to tap into ourselves to find those truths that He has already given us. That will help us to recognize who our partner in life really is. Some of us be nervous we're not going to find them, that we're not going to recognize who they are. But we will if you tap into yourself. If you get honest with yourself, if you take time away from someone who is taking you away from you, the God in you, we got to cut these losses. We got to cut these cords. We have to cut off these relationships that are not true. They're not real. No matter how you thought they was real at the beginning, you have gotten into them and you see they're not real. It's not the truth anymore. And it never was. You didn't see that at first, but now you do. And you feel it more so too. You got to cut that. In order for both of these to be upright and for us to truly be walking in the power that God has given us and to be living a life and creating the lives that we truly know we deserve and that the Most High really wants us to lead, we got to turn these cards from upside down like this and blockages to like this by getting real honest with ourselves. Mm-mm-mm. This question was, Father, what guidance and direction He would give us for these unions. What should we do now? After we've done these things, gone within ourselves, gotten very real with ourselves, and then after we cut what we're supposed to cut, we'll be able to be free to be true and to operate in truth and justice and to operate in integrity of character. We won't be lying anymore. And we'll become spiritual protectors and guardians and messengers of being real with yourself. And you'll free and liberate other people because of what you had to go through. You'll have that truth that the water brings. Hallelujah. I'm going to turn them up right now. This was the only one that was upright. And this is what I'm going to read now. This is the guidance. This is the divine direction that we are being given at this time. Let me find it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I accidentally turned off the other video. I apologize for that. But let me hop right into this next card because this is the truth if it ever was. And this is the divine actions and guidance and direction that the Most High is giving us about these unions that we are in right now, these relationships, these marriages even This is the divine guidance and direction that the Most High is giving. So the question was, what can we do right now? And for the Father to give us guidance on what to do and how to move forward in these unions and marriages. And this is the card that was pulled. It is number 33 in the deck, and it is pronounced Intikana. Intikana. And it means child of the light. So I'm going to go ahead and read what this means. It says there is a divine light that does not cast a shadow, nor does it cast judgment, even though it reveals the truth. A truth that is sometimes hard to acknowledge and requires that we change our ways. True divine light is healing. It is unifying. It brings hope and illumines the way. Other sorts of light exist on this planet that are not so pure, nor so helpful. Those sorts of light may appear stunningly bright, yet in effect create separation and increased ego. You can recognize genuine divine presence not by how dazzling it may appear at first, but by what your devotion to that divine light evokes in your heart and your world. Woo, that's so deep. Here's what it means in a reading. Trust your feeling over appearances. Move away from influences that create fear, negativity, or doubt within yourself, and reach out for that which uplifts your heart. Spiritual protection is being offered right now. Refuse to be dazzled by ego masquerading as something spiritual. Woo, this is for me. If it ain't for nobody else, it's for me. See, and let me just stop right here, because as it pertains to the faith that I'm a part of and just religion, period, a lot of people who do not really have the light, they become very religious people. They become people who hide behind religion when it's really their ego that's being stroked, when they present a law of some sort, that they find a law that can support what it is that they believe the role of a woman or a man is supposed to be. And these people, a lot of times it's men, but it could be men and women. This is a spiritual matter here. Men and women will hide behind religious beliefs and constructs when it's really their ego that's leading and guiding them. So we got to be careful. As children of the light, we got to be careful. What appears to be spiritual is not always a spiritual thing. It's really the ego hiding behind spirituality. I've been having this thought for a couple months now. Anyway, it says through your prayers and efforts, spiritual light has been accumulating on the inner planes, even though you may not sense it that consciously yet. There will be an intersection of events and circumstances in your physical world through which that light shall pour forth and manifest itself as grace. Let me tell you what the Spirit is telling me right now that means. That means to my sisters and to my brothers who are involved in marriages and unions that are not of the Most High for you, that are not coming from His truth and His integrity, they are not coming from the highest good and possible love for you, that were created from your own sense of maybe lack or missing something, or that of another person, or both, that the Most High is setting up ways. He is setting up a way through the spiritual, through your prayers, through your doing what you were supposed to do despite the discomfort. The Most High is setting up something in the spiritual that will manifest itself in the physical. That is going to look bad. I promise. I'm going to tell you that now. This is the second time that a card like this has come up. In my other deck that happened yesterday, which I will be making sure now to share that video, because at first it was personal for me, but I know now for sure that this is more so that about, this is more than just about me. In this deck right here, in that deck, I received a card that pretty much is exactly like this one, that said that it's called the ever opening rose or something like that. That card was saying the same thing, that something in life was about to happen, that it may be painful, And it may seem like it is the end of the world, but truly it is actually not happening to you, meaning it's not happening against you, it's happening for you. This card to me is confirmation of that one yesterday. What's about to happen in the physical is about to be supernaturally allowed for you. No matter what it may look like, guys, this is for my sisters and my brothers who are involved in unions that are not for them. They are not serving your soul purpose. They do not help you with your life purpose right now. They're keeping you from it. I'm telling you, the Father is about to allow some stuff to be shaken up in your world, and it's going to be hurtful. And even to other people, it may look like, oh my God, it didn't work out. It ended. Even to you, it may feel like this. But the truth is you need to know, this is your warning. This is your sign. This is your prayer being answered, that this is all happening so that you can be the best version of you that the Father intends for you to be. That's what this is telling me now. But I'm going to keep on reading because I know that there's more. And the way that this said, it's going to be grace. It's going to be the grace of God that helps you. Whether you see it as help at the time that it happens or not, what's about to happen will be the grace of God for your life, for you to get back on track. Because you can feel that you are. But anyway, here we go. There will be an intersection of events and circumstances in your physical world through which that light shall pour forth and manifest itself as grace. Continue with your spiritual devotion. There is something truly good to come of it. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Wow. When we are faced with a deep unknowing, which is what happens when we are growing spiritually and moving through a spiritual initiation, we have outgrown what our minds are capable of providing. That's deep. See, at the beginning of the reading, though it got cut off before, I was talking about there are things that we have been believing. There are ideas that we have been believing that really are limiting us from being who the Most High truly desires that we be. And they have, in fact, encouraged us to be a part of these unions, which are not what the Most High wants for us, because they don't bring out our life and soul purpose. They're taking from us. They are depleting us. We are not being true. We are becoming fake. We are putting on appearances, keeping up appearances in these unions right now, you guys. The Father is saying, we have outgrown what our minds are capable of providing. We need more knowledge and more wisdom and even more light so that we can find our way through the darkness of initiation and into the blessing of new life waiting on the other side of this process. When we turn our attention to our souls instead of applying logic and intellect to figure out, or I want to say religion, to figure out yet another doomed plan to conquer the irrepressible evolution inherent in our spiritual path, then we finally gain comfort. Hope is a quality of the soul, and it allows us to bear the uncertainty when, according to a greater wisdom, there is something that we cannot know the answer to, at least for right now. Hope gives us the patience so that we can learn how to feel our soul connection more deeply and grow into the wisdom of the answers that we need. We stop fumbling about in the library of the intellect and instead seek out the answer from the source that can provide it, which is the illumined temple of our own soul. Initiation often involves an element of the unexpected, and we typically feel unprepared for it, even though at a soul level we have been working towards it for a long time. If it's happening though, then we are actually ready for it. Such spiritual testing is intimidating to the ego. Yes, it is. But the soul knows how to move through this process. So trust your inner self and trust in the light and the unconditionally supportive assistance that the universe will lead to your purpose. The universe is the Most High to me. He created it. So, of course, that's Him. Supportive assistance that the universe will lend to your purpose. Remember, guys, this is real talk. This is so deep. The reason why these relationships were allowed to happen for us is because they're teaching us for sure what's dark and what's light within ourselves and within other people. And the truth be told is this was going to be only for a limited time only, whether you knew that or not. Now it's being more and more clear that this is a limited time, and you know it. Your spirit knows it. You feel it in your soul. You know that it's coming to an end, but your ego, which is what the religion tends to kind of deal with in a way, is telling you, no, I got to stay. It's telling you I got to do this. Okay, well, look, this is what the spirit is saying. Continue seeking me, continue going inside yourself, continue knowing that, continue feeling all the things that you're feeling, because they're telling you and they're speaking your truth. But don't worry, I'm about to allow for all this to get shaken up. And it's going to be to release you. It is going to be to release you so that you can begin to walk even more, even further on your path to your purpose. This relationship was more about finding out your purpose than anything. And you are finding it out. You are seeing what it is. This was a spiritual initiation, or you have been in the initiation process for a little while, whether you knew it or not. This was a trying, this has been a purifying and a cleansing for you. I know that this is going to resonate because it's resonating for me, baby. Some of us knew this when we were coming in. The Father allowed us to know that. And some of us didn't know that. We thought it was the right thing to do. And truthfully, because it was allowed, that must mean that it could not happen any other way. You had to go through this. But it wasn't a punishment. This is not a punishment. This is because you are truly, in fact, a spiritual powerhouse. You are truly, in fact, a child of the light. And that's why this had to happen. Again, the rest of the cards also said that we are spiritual protectors. So this had to happen so that you could feel it, so that you could know it, so that when you begin to message and you begin to channel these messages from the spirit of the Most High God to other people, that you would know what the freak you were talking about. I know this is true. Wow. Let me continue. It says, trust your inner self and trust in the light of the universe that will lend to your purpose. Then you can be fearless, impervious to manipulation, and remain steady and faithful in the face of challenge. And so many of us need this. This is the reason why it's important for you to go within yourself. Be real with yourself. Be freaking honest, because that truth and that honesty is going to help provide you with your fearlessness to walk this out. Because this is going to be painful for some people. This is about to shake up everything that you thought you wanted, everything you thought was right. It's about to shake it all the way up. And the only way you're going to be able to walk through this process without totally going crazy or breaking down is going to be because you know at a soul level that this was supposed to happen. And then it's going to seem like, dang, girl, you ain't broken up about this. You ain't going crazy about this. You ain't that hurt about it. It's not that you're not hurt, but it's that you know already. You know the truth now. And that truth is going to bring your inner standing and your inner strength. And that'll make you appear fearless. Even if you have fear, that truth is going to help you get over that. And you're going to be able to remain steady and faithful in the face of this challenge. This oracle foretells of a positive conclusion of any initiation of soul. If you or a loved one have been plagued by dark and depressing thoughts, then this oracle brings a spiritual intervention of joyful light. Open up to the joyful light of love and peace to fill your heart and your home. You have the power to call this in because you are acknowledged as a child of the Most High and a child of light. Rest in the divine light within, imagining that you can peer into your soul and be warmed by that light and life of the inner sun that shines within your soul, which is the true light of the Most High. From that place of inner peace, luminous love, and safe refuge, you can proceed with boldness, patience, wisdom, and hope. This oracle also asks you to cultivate a sense of self-worth and acknowledge the goodness in you without needing to be perfect. You don't just have light within you. You are the light. Remember to shine because we need you. This is speaking, and this is giving so much life right now. It's not even funny. There are a lot of sisters. This is what I have to speak on the women. There are a lot of sisters who, because of these unions, you have been broken down. You have been partially depressed or really totally depressed. Whether you ever acknowledge it or not, you have been going through depression. You have been in a dark place in your mind. You have thought that, oh my God, like somehow I must have brought this on myself. You have been thinking that maybe you're dealing with spirits. And if not so, your spouse has been causing you to feel like there's something wrong with you. Like the whole problem is you. It's not been you. It's not been you. You've been only still trying to seek for truth. You've been only trying to realize or recognize, hey, something is off here. You've been allowing your intuition, that light that is within you, to guide you. And you've been called names that you have not, that you are not. You are not a demon. You don't have a devil working in you. You're not a Jezebel. Not at all. The Most High's light is in you. And that's what's been guiding you. That's what's been directing you. It's actually what's been keeping you sane in this whole process, because it's been a whole challenge. Real talk. The Father says that your initiation is coming to an end. The Father is speaking and saying that this is about to be a win-win situation for you. And for me, the truth of the matter is I knew this coming in. I didn't know how it was going to play out. I didn't know how long. I didn't know none of that. But I knew that even if it wasn't right, it was going to be a win-win situation. Even if it was painful. Even if it hurt again. This is what guidance and direction the Father is giving us. Go within yourself. Start building up your self-confidence, your worth. You know that, listen, you know you good. You know that Negro, or if this is a man in this position in spirituality, you know that woman was lying. You know that you were righteous and that you have been good. I'm talking about on a soul level. I'm not even talking about what Torah or some religious belief tells you. I'm talking about, you know, you have been good. That you never harmed. You didn't plan to harm. You know it already. You know that you're still seeking the truth of the Most High God. That you're operating only from a place of pure love. That you've been giving that love even in the face of hurt from your spouse. You've still been giving of yourself. You know it. It's okay. It's about to come to an end, but this end is not going to be death. It's going to be the beginning of the new life. And really, this life is not new. It's what you're supposed to be living. It seems new because we've not been living it. It's the life that you are purposed to lead. From this whole ordeal, you're about to come out with so much truth about who you are as a person, what your spiritual purpose and mission is. You are about to be so much more clearer. And as a result, you are going to be more powerful. You're going to be a powerhouse. And the messages that you have to bring, they're going to help to deliver and free other people. This is about to be beautiful. This ending is about to be beautiful because it's about to open you up to the life that you've been knowing exists for you. Be steadfast in the union that you're in. Continue to show the light. The Father will allow for for realistic circumstances, for physical circumstances to end this spiritual initiation. You don't have to do it. And I don't mean that as in like you don't have to do nothing. Oh, you got work to be doing on yourself spiritually. Because you haven't had time to do it. You've been feeling it and everything, but you haven't been going inside yourself. It's time to go inside yourself so that you can heal. Get this water in you that's already there. Start being truthful, being honest. start creating and manifesting the type of life that you know you're supposed to be living in, even if your spouse disagrees. It's time for you to start walking that out because that's your truth. In doing that, you're going to be able to cut off the negativity. Like, even if you are still in the union, the things that used to hurt your feelings, the things they used to say, they used to get under your skin, they used to piss you off, make you angry, make you go off. It's not going to do that no more because you're going to cut those cords. You're going to be at peace. That negativity not going to even be able to reach you. You're going to be then cried your last tear because of negativity. And you're going to remain faithful. But in doing that, you're going to be protecting something. Yourself and somebody else. You're going to have your truth intact inside of you. Even if they don't realize it, even if they can't tell, even if it seems like, oh, you still here, I'm still in a relationship. It's over already. It's been over. You're about to walk into that acknowledgement. You're going to cut that off. And the supernatural will intervene. The Most High is going to intersect on earth. He is going to allow for a circumstance. All this truth that's about to be getting ready to come to a head pretty much is going to make it so that you have to leave. It's going to make it so that that darkness is going to have to depart so that the light can continue coming in for both of you, both parties. Both people are going to be affected here. Nobody getting away from this. That's not how spirit works. Everybody gets what's for them in this relationship. Even if it may not appear like it's like that for your spouse. Don't worry. The Most High is providing the way of escape. Keep on seeking inside of self. Keep on strengthening yourself. Keep on exploring the gifts and spiritual gifts that the Father has given you. Begin to create the life that you know you are meant to lead. That is a part of your soul purpose. Start doing that. Praising the Most High in the process. Start doing those things. Praising the Most High in the process. The Father will allow for it to end, and it's going to be as a sign of grace for you. No matter what that spouse or the spirit in that spouse may try to say, they may try to make it seem like you did this and you were the reason that we not together and you breaking us up and your evilness. Know and understand that you're not evil. That the Father is allowing this for you to move forward in light. That's the message. Shalom.